Hello, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Tony Sapita, and I'm joined by my co-host, Nick Barr. We're doing a little Bulls off-season, pre-draft, et cetera, recap today. So, Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. It's been a minute. Got to address Bulls Nation, man. I had to get myself pumped, get the nerves coming. It's been a couple months. So I put on my nice Dave Matthews playlist, put on the best album, which is the first one. So not up for debate. Calm the nerves, and I'm ready to get back into it, dude. Rumor mill is hot.
Oh, it is absolutely. The mill is spinning. Is that what mills do? I don't know what a mill really is.
Yeah, they spin. Yeah, they spin.
Right. They have the wheels, or not wheels, the fan thing. Doesn't matter. It is hot. You are right. And so we might as well just jump right into it. So I guess our two topics for today, we're going to start with the Gobert potential trade rumors with the Chicago Bulls, kind of what we think on it.
Potential. Yes. Emphasis on potential.
Yeah, kind of what we think about, can it work? Should the Bulls even really consider it, especially with who is being thrown out there as potential trade candidate from the Bulls? And then we'll finish up talking about as Nick put it, our sweet prince, Zach LaVine, and just kind of everything with him, because it's heating up, but it felt like it hasn't. We're not a DEFCON 1. I think 1's higher than 5 technically in that list.
Was that how that works? Okay.
I think so. So we're not at DEFCON 1 officially. We're losing them or anything yet. But it's just, things are weird. Things are awkward. We're definitely he's taking some time to think about our relationship for sure. But we'll get into all that. Let's start with Rudy Gobert. So here's what we know so far regarding the potential Rudy Gobert move. Nick, fill us in.
So, of course, we got to talk a little money, right? So if the money doesn't work, nothing works. So we got Vooch coming in. So Vooch, I should start off. Vooch is likely to be included in this trade if it were to happen. Most likely he'll be a piece. That's like the for sure shot, if this were to come to fruition. But he's got about 22 million left on his last contract year. And Gobert has a lot more than that. His contract is pretty hefty. He's making, I think, 38 in the next year, right?
Yeah, 38.1, I believe, to be exact. Yes.
So definitely, that jumps off the page. So really, that, okay, if this trade were to go down, we gotta throw in Vooch, and then, this is going to be time for the Bulls to decide how they feel about Patrick Williams, because it's likely that he'll need to be a piece in that as well. And then perhaps throwing in like a Kobe White or Javonte Green or both, that would likely make the trade worth it. But again, I Tony, don't know how the Jazz value Patrick Williams. I don't even know how our own team values him, because, we talk potential all the time and we see these flashes of him, but he's still only averaging, 9 points per game in his career so far. Now, obviously career, it's a loose term. He's been hurt forever. Youngest rookie, I think, playing in the league when he was a rookie. So the dude's young, man. And he's got this unbelievable frame that we love to talk about. Right. So I understand that it's hard to not look at him as like a very high potential, but it's like, how long are we going to give him for that? And, obviously I think the Bulls are in win now mentality. And I think the other thing is that the Jazz are probably in win now mentality. Now, I know it's like kind of blew up a little bit with Quinn Snyder just up and leaving, and then you got Donovan Mitchell, probably not so happy about that. So there's some other things going around at the Jazz, but I would imagine, they're going to want some pieces that they can win now. They've been a contender, and they haven't been able to get over that next hump as a team. So, I'd be kind of, they'd really be folding it in to just say, yeah, we're back to rebuild this early. So very interesting things here, Tony. And I just don't know, again, how we value Patrick Williams, or how they value him. And honestly, I don't really know the tone on Gobert either. So obviously, like, he's an all-star, one of the best defensive players we've seen in a long time. So that holds a lot of weight. Now he's got a hefty contract. He's 30 years old. So he's in his prime right now. Now the contract ends when he's 33. So hopefully he's still in his prime, at least for our case. But a lot of shit up in the air, man. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think? Like, are you even down for this trade? If so, who would you offer up? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I have three things about this trade. First one being, it's an overall take on the potential, the guys being thrown out there, Vooch, Patrick Williams. I don't know if the Jazz were saying they want Kobe White or if that was us Bulls fans being like, who would make, who really add some value, Kobe White, we'll just keep Patrick Williams. The interesting part is, and then I know Javonte Green, I think was thrown in I think that was by Bulls writers to talk about just kind of making the money fit perfectly. What's interesting is all those guys have 1 year left. Patrick Williams has 2. There's team options and stuff involved. So it almost feels like a salary dump is almost what it would be for the Jazz, or obviously hoping that you hit on Patrick Williams and maybe, kind of one last crack at it here and then realize, because the Jazz are the team everyone picks at the start of the playoffs, like, oh, watch out for the Jazz, and they just can't do it. And obviously Donovan Mitchell's had some injury stuff, and there's all the excuses you could have, but a window's only open so long. It is what it is. And so that, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, if you got more on that, I just want to pose another question to you though, is that, so let's say we get Rudy Gobert, okay, and we get rid of Vooch, Patrick Williams, and Kobe and Javonte. Where do you think that puts the Bulls at in terms of like, do we jump in the standings? Do we jump maybe around in the playoffs? Or what do you see the impact being if this thing goes down?
That's a perfect lead in. So what I was going to say about the window is their window, they maybe see it closing or whatever it is. Our window, that's up to AK. Now that's in the hands of the front office, Billy Donovan, whatever. What do they deem to be our window? Is it as long as DeMar is here? Is it if we're re-signing Zach, which we'll get into little Zach news or potential news, rumors, whatever? Do they see this as we need to win now? This is our Giannis stopper, our Joel Embiid stopper. That is the one fix we need. We'll build, through the draft, sign some free agents around it. Maybe hope for a big splashy signing, which then if you get Gobert, then you have less cap space. So there is a lot of, me, myself, it just feels like such a gamble and there's so much unknown. I'm not an insider, Nick. You're not an insider. I know it hurts to say that. I wish I had AK's ear, but I do not. So him telling me stuff. So he has my ear, whatever it would be. So I would need a plan to be comfortable with it. Okay, we're gonna trade for Gobert, but then we're gonna go after this player in free agency, or we're gonna trade up for whoever it is in the draft, something to then fill in all those spots we lose. I also like Patrick Williams. It's just so weird because there is so much unknown with Patrick Williams.
Yeah,
and this is a weird one where both teams might lose. It truly is one of those trades where both teams might lose the trade. It feels like you said about I think you said it in this, or maybe you said it off air, but it would be a great regular season move. Like Gobert, we would definitely be dominant in the regular season, but when it comes down to game time, what have the Jazz done? They've had a good team, and he hasn't been enough to lead them through the playoffs to the finals. I assume that's our ultimate objective. So
right.
It's weird. That was a total non-answer, but that's my answer.
No. I also don't have an answer. I'm trying to get these other points off as to what could be swaying. Because like you said, we're not insiders. So what would be really cool is to know how NBA execs view Patrick Williams, if they view him as like high potential or like future role player, whatever. Like that would be the one thing I would want to be the fly on the wall for the most, I think, in this. But also, we do have to think about the fact that, because I feel like we haven't backed Vooch up at all on this. Like we just he's getting shipped. Now, one, that's just because that's the piece that makes sense in this trade. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. It's not that we don't want him, but it's just that I think at this point, to his defense, he's a playmaker way more so than Gobert. Gobert's just like, in terms of offense, like he's just pick and roll, crash the board. Like hopefully he can, get a slam, because I don't know how much he's gonna hit, a nice floater, or like he's definitely not hitting a jump shot. So that's a huge difference, right? From going from Vooch to that, where Vooch is spreading out the floor. He's like, expected really at times to be our third scorer and playmaker too. Like he's getting dimes here and there. So it's going to be a big style of play difference. And my whole thing is like, I feel like the front office, they're big on this whole, let's keep everything the same. Let's keep the chemistry going. And I just feel like, I mean, we're talking about an all-star here, right? So you gotta, when you have an opportunity to sign an all-star, I get it. You got to make it. You got to try to make it work.
Defensive player of the year, not this year.
Defensive player of the year
in general, yeah.
But it's gonna make our team look a lot different. I really do think that.
Yeah.
Just because they're opposite players, but and listen, even with Vooch's scoring, being a score first guy, we have 3 score first, offense first guys. Now we bring in a defense first guy, which is good to mix it up, but we couldn't score in the playoffs as it was. So our scoring in theory would just go down a little bit. So I don't know, man.
That was the exact point I was going to make too, is there's holes in this team. There's plenty of holes. And obviously, like I mentioned, that would maybe be a potential solution for playing against Giannis and beating some of these bigger guys. But what killed us was freaking Grayson Allen just splashing threes in our eyes. So it's 3 perimeter defense and also perimeter shooting. One of the guys that we're talking about shipping off, Kobe White, supposed to be the 3-point shooter, supposed to be the guy. Right. He shoots like he's that guy. He doesn't make him like he's that guy though. Right. So that's where, like I said, it would take care of a problem, most likely, which is just like that interior defense. But I don't think it would solve our issue with the fact that we can't shoot and we can't defend the perimeter. So, and then the final, this is the biggest one for me personally. This is my biggest issue with trading for Rudy Gobert is, Nick, you and I are both men of online, stature. Of course, we are online a lot on Twitter. We would get memed, absolutely memed to death. Those memes already, like, people are vicious and mean because the Utah Jazz, they're easy to pick on. Everyone makes fun of just the state of Utah in general. And, they do themselves no favors by losing all the time, underperforming in the playoffs. But then now the man that spread COVID to the rest of the world, the rest of the NBA, now is coming to Chicago. That just opens us up for, just some really mean things, man. Just hurtful tweets and just mean things. And that,
big time.
There's not enough money in the world. There totally is. But that'd be a tough one, in my opinion.
That'd be tough. That'd be a tough hit, dude. Just getting that microphone touch of him touching during COVID every time. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's truly we'd have to win the championship. That's the only solution for that. So, but before we get into our final topic here, we'd like to thank our sponsor, the Bench Mob. The Bench Mob was started in 2010 and has reemerged in 2021 and potentially 2022, even if we're shipping some guys out to represent the best bench players in the league. To get your Bench Mob merch, head over to the link in our description and use code J20 JAY20 for 20% off your order. Nick's got the shirt on. I am working today, so I didn't have much time. Just threw on a generic Chicago related thing. But I love it. I still got the wristbands right here. You know it. I should have put them on. So speaking of our final topic, our sweet prince, as Nick put so eloquently, Zach LaVine. Just fill us in, Nick. Update us. What do we got going on?
Dude, first of all, even though these are just rumors, like that, I can't help but just feel the sting when you see these, like, little pictures of, Trailblazers are interested in Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine or whatever it is. And it has like Zach LaVine smiling and it's like, no, he's mine. And, listen, these rumors are so loose. That's why I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, is because like, I just don't want to put too much like emphasis and too much attention on these, these little rumblings across the league, apparently, from anonymous executives. Yeah. So here's the deal. So we got Zach LaVine. The new thing today I've heard, Tony, is Zach LaVine is, quote, in play around the league. So that's his status now, for trade talks. So I think we know this by now. But the new rumor is that the Trailblazers are looking to build around Dame. Of course, this blew me away. I didn't know that was the first time they missed the playoffs since the 2012-13 season. That kind of surprised me. I mean, not really just because, you think about Dame's time there, but I would have guessed that they've sporadically missed a few here and there, but I guess not.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was impressive, but yes, they're coming off a really bad year. They won like 25 games. They're looking to bounce back. Obviously they want to build around Dame because, CJ McCollum's gone. They started, doing the old rebuild thing last season. But they have their eyes on apparently, Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. So for the Bulls, that would mean some sort of, sign and trade. Now, Tony, now I don't think Zach would do this, but could he technically just sign to the Blazers outright? Or would that just not get him? I mean, he's not going to get that much money then.
He wouldn't be eligible. Okay, this is a blind spot for me because technically he wasn't drafted by the Bulls, so he is not eligible for that, super duper max, if I'm not mistaken. That's only where you're drafted. I believe, I think he would get more money if he signs with the Bulls, sign and trade. So signs with the Bulls, and then we trade him. It's all contingent. That's going to be our official statement as a podcast on that salary matter.
Yeah, and again, listen, dude, the reason why we didn't do all the due diligence is because it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. These are just very loose rumors. I want to remind everyone the negotiation time isn't for almost 2 months. August 2nd is when negotiations start. The free agency clock starts on August 6th. So we got plenty more time to spin our heads around these rumors. But
as we know about our Chicago Bulls, we respect the start and end dates of free agency, talking to free agents, trade stuff. We do not tamper. We are an anti-tamper team. I think that's been very clear over the last year.
Yeah. No, we don't even. They're not even allowed to tweet. Just kidding. Vooch tweets quite a lot, actually. I enjoy his tweets. He's funny. So again, got a couple months. I guess, Tony, my question I want to pose to you, having plenty of experience under the Reinsdorf umbrella, what do you think? You think these guys would even pay a DeMar, a LaVine, and a Rudy Gobert on the same team? I mean, do you think that's even is that even possible? There's so many other pieces there, but that could just trump everything. They're not going to do that, right? So I don't know. But to me, it doesn't feel like that's something they'd be willing to do.
Yeah, where it gets interesting is once you get above that luxury tax. Obviously, we know the Warriors don't care about that, and these other teams, the Clippers, and Steve Ballmer's like, I have infinity money, we're good. That's where it does get interesting. Where if you would ask me 2 years ago, I would have said no. I would have said, almost for sure not. Obviously, baseball's a little different because there's just no salary cap. So it's just you make what you can make. You could have the smallest payroll. You could have basically a zero payroll. You could also have a $1 billion payroll. Obviously, salary cap and whatnot, or not salary cap, luxury tax and stuff in baseball too. But where it gets interesting is, like I said, the luxury tax. However, it does feel like, especially with all the moves AK just made, where Reinsdorf's kind of not feeling the heat because he doesn't have to sell the team if he doesn't want to, but just kind of feeling that, all right, we got to win a championship. We got to at least have some sort of playoff success where I think he will bite the bullet if push comes to shove where they got to start paying the luxury tax. Now, if it's close, if it's like this trade where it's it can kind of go either way with the Gobert trade and everything, if it's close, would he choose to save a couple dollars? Maybe. I think he might. I don't think he will outright deny something due to money like that, as the only con in the trade or signing a player. That's interesting. I definitely think that,
I don't know.
It's tough. The White Sox have been doing well, hopefully making them a little money. The Bulls doing well this year definitely helps that as well.
That's true.
The market's down though, so who knows? Maybe he had some bad investments. I don't know. That's an interesting question, and I am honestly terrified because I have to defend him as a White Sox fan as well. I'm terrified to potentially see him make me eat my words. I think that's my stance on that. Yeah.
We'll see. We're excited for it. We'll it's going to be back on wax talking about the Bulls. So we'll keep these coming as the rumor mill spins. Whether it's positive or negative, man, we're here. Let's run it.
Yep. And with that will do it for this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Tony Cepeda. Thank you again to my co-host, Nick Barr. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, Bulls fans, keep seeing red.
Yes, sir.